Some people are concerned about family gatherings, especially large ones, during the upcoming holiday season. Yet other people are feeling that their life is pretty much back to normal after missing or downsizing their holidays for the last 2 years. Now, how can we stay healthy throughout the holiday season? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, it's Dr. David. We've been hearing about a lot of viruses, the triple demic of COVID, of RSV, of influenza virus. People are getting multiple infections at the same time. People are getting over one infection, having another infection hop on board afterwards. And it can be frustrating. I know a lot of people have been sick. Certainly, we haven't been seeing the same type of illnesses that we can sometimes see, especially when we were seeing at the beginning of COVID. But nonetheless, this is having a big impact on a lot of people. And a lot of people are worried, am I going to be able to celebrate the holidays like I was hoping to after all of these years of not being able to do so? So I wanted to put together a list of tips that I thought would be helpful to try and stay as healthy as possible through the holiday season. Now, the most important thing overall is maintaining your optimal health. Are you going to be able to sleep as well? I know sometimes if you're on vacation or visiting family, there may be multiple people in a room or something. So, really important. Try to get the optimal amount of sleep that you normally would, or if you don't normally get an optimal sleep, hitting that, very important. Maintaining your diet as much as you possibly can. If you are on a special diet, or for that matter, just trying to keep to an anti-inflammatory diet, just trying to eat as healthy as possible. It's more challenging during the holidays. All kinds of sweets and snacks and all kinds of things seem to appear just out of clear blue sky sometimes. I know it happens here in our office in the kitchen. You can walk in and see all kinds of goodies there. So again, it's the holidays. Be healthy with it, be fun with it, but try to stick to it as much as possible, whatever your normal healthy diet is. And of course, in terms of exercise, super important for everything besides the stress. Sometimes for some families, holidays can be stressful, and we know the importance of sleep as well as good exercises for that, but also just burning off those extra calories, creating that energy for yourself, finding that time for yourself, and then maybe we don't feel quite as guilty when we do decide that we're going to splurge a little bit more because we do see that treat that we just have to have because it's part of who we are, part of our family. Would never consider missing something like that. Okay. Now, of course, the time, why not, good as any, to put in our plugs for maintaining good vitamin D and zinc levels. And as always, if you have not checked your vitamin D level, make sure it's at least above 50. If you have not checked your zinc plasma level, get it at least above 80 to 90, or your zinc red blood cell level at least above 10. I know we've talked about these things before. If you have the opportunity to check it, if not, but you know what your dosing is, stay with them. Those are so important when trying to keep your immune system strong. We're not going to live in a plastic bubble. We're going to get exposed to viruses. How do we have our immune systems be as strong as possible to hopefully not have any symptoms at all if we're exposed, or if we do, to have them be minimized? Now, of course, we've talked many times about starting our immune support protocol on the first signs of illness. This is also something that we would recommend starting a day or two before traveling on an airplane, especially going through airports, those public spaces. Being on an airplane, you may be sitting next to somebody who who didn't realize that they were sick, or maybe they didn't care or whatever. So having our immune support protocol ready to go. We travel with the ingredients, with the particular products. I know I've shared that on this channel before in past videos. We now keep that information in our Patreon area. So if you don't have access to that and you're not a patient of our practice, because we do have that on the patient portal useful info section. But of course, that information is on the Patreon, and if you want to be a support of ours, that's one of the things that we give you, is having access to our holistic protocols, our COVID protocols, our flu protocols, our regular immune support protocol, what to do for coughs, colds, stomach bugs. It's all there for you. So if you want to have access to that information, that's where you'll find it. Oh, and links to that should be down below as well. Now, starting Oh, pardon me. So again, if wanting to avoid exposure. So of course, be in communication with your family. Is anybody sick? I know nobody wants to be missing the gatherings this year, but if somebody's sick, they should stay away or stay far away, or at least if they can wear a mask to catch some of the virus, that can certainly be helpful as well. But have that open conversation ahead of time. There will be more holidays. It's super important. We certainly don't want to be missing hours either. But just recognizing that you can't catch an infection if you're not exposed to an infection, and you can't pass it along to somebody if you're not close enough to somebody. So things to keep into mind. Now, of course, other things can be helpful, such as keeping to a well circulated room. This is something that we talked about way earlier during the COVID pandemic. Having windows open as much as possible, being in larger, higher ceiling rooms and not small confined rooms, keeping doors open if you can, keeping fans going. The more that there's circulation going through the environment where you are at, then the less likely that you'll get a concentrated whopping of somebody's virus in their face. And also gathering outside. I realize that we're in Florida here, so we have much more of an opportunity, but I realize in other parts of the country you may be watching this that may not be feasible. But any opportunity to be gathering outside, we know that is the best when it comes to circulation, as we talked about before. Good hand washing. Of course, we all learned to sing songs and such at the beginning of the pandemic, especially when it comes to influenza and these viruses. Hand washing is a good thing to be doing. Keeping counter surfaces clean as possible too. That can be very helpful, especially if you're going to be touching them and touching your mouth, touching your eyes, touching your nose. That's how those types of things gets passed along. Consider shorter visits. Maybe instead of planning a 10-day vacation, maybe you do it for a few days. Maybe obviously the less exposed people, but also consider shorter periods of time. So maybe if you were one who were hanging out as the whole day, maybe you make it a few hours. Again, this is your call. I'm giving you tips. This isn't something that, of course, I'm mandating, but of course, the shorter amount of time spent with people, if they do have an infection, potentially they were preclinical, didn't have symptoms beforehand, asymptomatic. Of course, the less amount of time, especially up close with people, of course, that will decrease the chances of catching a virus. And of course, if you are a high risk person, a senior citizen, if you are somebody who is have an immunodeficiency, autoimmune condition, etc., and that in a general terms that you are more susceptible to things, or when you get exposed that you're more likely to get walloped by it, masks can be helpful. So being in a mask for your own self, for your own personal safety, is a way of decreasing the chances of catching the virus. And of course, for the people who are really at high risk, again, I realize that so many more people, especially with COVID, have immunity now from either past vaccines usage or from past viral exposure. We know that in terms of influenza, there is an annual flu shot. We don't know yet how well the match is going to be on that. There is no RSV vaccine, etc. And of course, there's all of the other cold and flus that there's not vaccines for. But of course, a high risk person, if they may get benefit from a vaccination for something like that, for my own self, although I did get the first 3 vaccines, I did not choose to get the COVID booster for the most recent one, the bivalent, because I did have Omicron over the summertime. I did choose to take the influenza vaccine due to, as I've explained before on this channel, my terrible reactions to influenza virus multiple times with no reaction that I've ever had to the vaccine. Took the vaccine 3 weeks ago for the influenza. I had no problems either. So again, just another thing that's out there for you. So hopefully that this is helpful for you. Hopefully this will keep you and your family from having minimal effects of any illness over the holiday season. Of course, please share this video with other people if you think it may be helpful. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and our other social media platforms. Have a great day.
You like what you saw? Watch another one. Click right here.